Hello everyone, and welcome to Event 6 of our 2019 Marblelympics, The Collision, in which, well, at this stage you'll be able to see in a moment, but how it works is you want to knock the other marble back further than the other marble knocks you back. There will be groups A, B, C, and D, or 1, 2, 3, and 4, depending on what you want to call them, and the top two from each group will move on to the tournament standings. Our four teams in Group A are Metallic, Forest, Ice Cream, and Aquarium. Our first teams up will be Forest and Metallic. There will be 6 matches in each group. Each marble will face off against each other marble, and the ones with the most wins at the end will move on. Metallic and Forest now. Who's going to win? They're off. Hitting in that center point, and it's going to be a Forest win. Forest is closer to the center, which means Forest wins. Next match in Group A, Aquarium and Ice Cream, and they're off. And Ice Cream, even going onto the other side, Ice Cream with the win. Next up, Ice Cream and Metallic. They're off. And Metallic with the win, pushing so hard that they stay really close to the center, but Ice Cream hits the wall on the other side. Next up, Metallic and Aquarium. The last match for these two in their groups. Aquarium and dead last. Metallic, if they get a win and Ice Cream gets a loss, Metallic will be moving on with Forest. Who's it going to be? And Aquarium will beat Metallic. Next up, Forest and Ice Cream. Forest will move on either way. Ice Cream will only move on if there's a win, and they're off. And Ice Cream and Forest, both teams will be moving on, since Ice Cream is on the other side. Our next group marbles are Time, Marsh, Beach, and Thunder. The two last teams, Beach and Thunder, will be fighting in this round. Who will win? They're off. And Beach hammering Thunder. Thunder coming back into camera sight, but Beach with the win. Next up, Time and Marsh. Time was, I think, in the second event, and would like to get back up there, and this could be a gold medal for them. It could be a gold medal for any of these teams, except at this rate, not Metallic or Aquarium. But these two teams are off, and it will be Marsh. Next up, the two winners of last round, we have Marsh and Beach, and they're off. And both of them hit the side, except Marsh. Oh, Marsh coming back. Marsh will win. Next up, Thunder and Time. Thunder needing this, and Thunder getting it. Thunder on camera, as you can see, but Time not. Next up, Beach and Time. Again, the last rounds in this group for these two marbles, and these two marbles are in the bottom last. Beach, if Beach gets a win, they might be able to move on if Thunder doesn't, but Time will not be moving on whatsoever, and Beach will win. Actually, no, Time coming in at the last second, and Time will win. Next up, we know both these teams are going to win, but the order that they'll be moving on will depend on this round. Thunder and Marsh up on both sides, and they're off. Thunder with that restraint, but hitting the side first. Marsh coming back, And Marsh will move on, beating Thunder, even though both teams will move on. Our next group's marbles are Blizzard, Primary, Core, and Fireball. Primary and Core are up first in this round. And Core hit that wall first. But as you can see, both hit that wall. Oh, Core coming back. Core with the win. Next up, Blizzard and Fireball. Fireball sitting around the bottom of the standings, but Blizzard in the top. Forest is moving on. If Blizzard doesn't move on, Forest can overtake them. Who will it be, though? And it will be Fireball. Fireball launching Blizzard all the way to the wall and staying in the center. Next up, Primary and Fireball. The orange and red teams, orange and red, respectively on left and right, and Fireball looked like it had an early lead, but will it count? They did get a win. Primary did go all the way to the end, but they knocked themselves back quite a bit. It won't matter, they still won, but that could hurt them in next round. Next up, Core and Blizzard. Core was the first team to get a bronze medal, but they've fallen down in the standings ever since. They really, really need this. Can they get it? And Blizzard holding their ground, and Core won't get it this round. Next up, Core and Fireball. Fireball will be moving on no matter what, but Core, if Core can get a win here, because they really need this. And they're off. And they can't get it. Fireball holding off their ground. Core may not be moving on. If Blizzard doesn't win next round, Core will be moving on. But if Blizzard wins, it's over. Next up, Primary and Blizzard. Core praying that Primary can knock Blizzard farther. But will their prayers be answered? And that's a false start by Primary, breaking the gate and falling out. That's a false start, and they will have to go again. They're going to go again on the same sides, so the gate is already weak. If Primary smashes through, they will get a loss. They're off. And they do get it. Primary would not be moving on either way, but now we know that Core and Fireball are moving on. Blizzard will come third in the group. In Group 3, we have Cola, Mint, Mars, and Cat's Eye. Cola and Mint are up first, and they're off. And Cola coming back right at the end. Cola will get a win, and they're sitting at the bottom of the standings, so this is exactly what they needed. Next up, we have Cat's Eye and Mars. They're off. And Mars, with a strong push, staying in the center. Cat's Eye coming back. You can see them on the far left side of the camera. Mars, however, will get the win. Next up, Cat's Eye and Mint, the losers of round 1 in Group C. And they're off. Cat's Eye struggling to stay on camera. And you can barely see them. But Cat's Eye wins, knocking Mint all the way back. Next up, Cola and Mars. Cola needing this. Mars would like to gain some places too, though. And they're off. Mars, very strong in this event. Cola struggling to stay on camera. And you can still see them. But Mars with the win. Next up, Cat's Eye and Cola. The winner of this round will be moving on with Mars, who has already made it. Cat's Eye wanting these places. Cola desperately needing them. They've been sitting in last for pretty much the whole thing. Can they get it? And They're struggling back, and they got back on camera after hitting the wall. Cola will be moving on with Mars. Next up, Mint and Mars. Mars already moving on, as you saw last round. Except Mint will not move on no matter what. They could still get third in the group, though, if they get a win here. And they're off. And no, they can't. Actually, they're coming back on camera. Can they get it? Just barely Mars gets the win. Mars will be finishing with a win in all of its races. Eight marbles will be moving on, and their places on the standings have yet to be decided, but you will see them in our next clip. Those marbles moving on will be Marsh, Ice Cream, Thunder, Cola, Core, Forest, Fireball, and Mars. Here's our tournament board with our top 8 teams. The winners of the semifinals will go up to the final place, and the losers will go into the third place round decider. 8 marbles sit here. Our first match will be between Thunder and Mars. That's it for part 1 of Event 6. If you enjoyed, like and leave a comment on who you thought was most surprising to get into the top 8. And without further ado, I'll see you in the next episode, which won't be coming out next Monday. It might even be coming out on the same day. But see you in Event 6.2.